They say he can't, but he can. They say he won't, but he will. He's more than what he has been through. His heart is strong, he will break through. He is able. He is able. He is able.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I got the squad in the house tonight. Listen, we are getting ready to have a good show tonight. This is going to be one of those shows I believe that people are going to really want to have a word in on. I think it's going to be a situation here where, this is a question that's often asked within circles of men. We're kind of letting everybody in on it tonight. Ladies are going to get a chance to get in on this question that's often asked in our circles. And it's the topic of, should a young man in his 20s, early 20s, we're talking like between the age of 20 to 25-ish, 26, should a young man marry a woman that has a child already? Should he do that, or should he wait? Should he wait and just start his own family himself? Listen, this is going to be on tonight, guys. Listen, right now, those of you that have started to get in, I want you to take a second and share this with some people. If you would, share with a couple of people and let them know that we're on tonight, and this is going to be a good talk. I do have a squad on board tonight, guys. If you could just give a quick shout out, what's up to everybody? Cameron Keynes.
Yeah, what's up? Here we go again. I'm sure we're gonna have a real good discussion tonight, and we just want to hear y'all input. And just thank you very much for tuning in.
That's what's up. And Rashard Brown.
Yeah. How y'all doing out there?
All right.
Time to have some fun.
It's time to have some fun. Let's talk tonight. Listen, guys, this is going to be a good one. So take a second right quick and share with somebody. Tell them to jump in right quick while we just put on a quick commercial right quick, like before we get started.
Hey guys, this is something that you don't want to miss. Our first Faith and Mental Health Tour is stopping in Orlando, Florida on May 22nd at 5 p.m. A Chili's Art Cafe located at 2295 South Hiawassee Road, Unit 100. I'd love to see you there. Now let's get back to our show.
Good. Woo, good stuff. Listen. We're about to get started. So look, let's dive into this, fellas. This is one of those situations where we have to kind of be really honest tonight. This is one of those brutally honest situations. So let's just start asking the question with you guys first. Before we have everyone jump in with the comments and everything, should a guy in his young 20s, ages 20 to 25 or 26, should he marry a woman with a child already, or should he wait? What would you tell your son? Cameron Keynes, you first, brother.
Well, I've been there, so I'll tell him to wait. Tell him to wait.
Expound on that a little bit. Why would you say that?
Because I think you just need to kind of like the things that I'm teaching him, or I'm going to teach him when he gets to a certain age. I think my experiences, I'm going to break it down to him, and I just feel like you just got to get to know a person, and jumping into another family just like that is it's a lot. You got to deal not only with just the mother, you got to deal with the baby's dad, and then you got to deal with the kids. They might be older, might be younger, but there's a whole lot of different things. And if you're not experienced, or you have no knowledge of basically what you're jumping into, it could be very, very hard.
Okay, all right. Rashard Brown, how do you feel, my brother?
Yeah, man. You know, I've experienced this also, and I would definitely say wait. There's so many factors involved in a situation like this. And one of the main factors you got to look at when you're not the actual father of that child, a lot of times you have other relatives trying to parent the child from beyond the walls of your home, aunties, uncles, grandparents, feeling like they can have and tell and influence what's going on in your home with the kid. And then you also have to deal with the situation where, you know, the parent, the actual father of the child, how are you and him gonna get along?
Mhm.
It's so many different variables, and most of them are not positive.
Okay.
So
Right.
I would say I would wait. If I had to do it all over again, I would wait and choose and meet somebody that doesn't have a kid and try to start my own family, just starting off.
Okay, so here's the question. Okay, so let's kind of give this a scenario for a moment. So, young man meets a lady, and uh, and she has a child already before he meets her, and now, um, what is that key component going in? Uh, and what do you tell him? Like as far as his heart is concerned, his feelings, his emotions. Uh, because I noticed that a lot of times what will happen is it's easy for a young man at that age to become attached. Not only we heard stories of becoming attached to the child, but also we hear the story of feeling guilt if you're involved with her, and then you start getting this guilt feeling where you feel like you're obligated to now stay or stick around her or become the step in father. So what's one of those things that you would say? I mean, what's the cutoff? What kind of guard should be up here when a young man's dealing with a situation like this?
Son, 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 son. I think that you should step back and try to date other people before you commit. That's a very big decision you're making, and the further you go, the deeper you're gonna get. I could tell you how being in it, how I'm supposed to be trusted by that woman, and watching the kids. They may have went to work, and then they return from work and they checking the kids to see if they have any marks on them, little things like that, especially if you've been with them, been around them for a while, because I'm sure that if a young man get involved and he's involved already, I'm sure there have been times, if she was decent, she might have not even let him see the kids in the beginning. So that had given her a lot of chance to time to get to know that person, as far as their personality, or probably detect if this person is abuser or stuff like that. I mean, it's not always whereas you could detect something like that, but somehow if you're a people person, or you just someone that knows your kid, it may be something that the kid come back and say, all these little things you listen to, not just judge that person like, oh, let me check their their body to see if
So you're saying that okay, I don't want to jump the gun here. So I mean, I want to come back to that piece
yeah,
because
because
it's a good thought to add into this, but I want to come back to that. But first, like, what is that true thing that you would say? You know what I mean? Like, do you say, look, if you're gonna date her, be careful. If you're gonna date her, don't let your feelings get involved yet. I mean, what do
that's
you
hard.
yeah?
That's real
Hey,
hard. That's real hard.
but
Come on,
here's
Rashad.
the
Yeah,
problem. Here's the problem.
yeah.
at 20, you don't know what love is.
Right.
That's the big problem. In our 20s, it's mostly lust. We have not a clue what love is. We don't know what love is until you damn near 40, man. See,
Right.
love is an action word. It's not an emotion. And we're taught the wrong way that love is this emotion. Love is not. Love is commitment. Love is doing what you got to do in the face of adversity. That's
Right.
what love is. Love is not this thing that you feel in your heart, and that's what
Okay.
we think love
Hold on
is.
right there for
So
a
a lot
moment.
of
Hold on
times,
right there.
and when you're early 20s, you get into these relationships, and you don't know what love is. You lust for that person, and then you get them.
Right.
Okay, now she got a baby, right? And then now you have taken on the responsibility of raising somebody else's child,
Okay. Hold
right?
up. Hold up.
You're
Hold up.
not
Hold up.
financially stable yourself.
Hold up. Hold up. Stop right there for a second. I like something that you said, and I want us to focus in on that. It is total truth. I hear some feedback noise. I'm not sure where that's coming from on the mic, but so it's totally true that as a young man, you really do not know what love is. Really, we're really sorting out feelings and emotions in that time frame, and we're not really judging. We're not making judgment off of wisdom, nor are we making judgment calls off of experience at this point. So, I believe that for myself, I just truly believe that there is a point in time where we must be very careful, especially as a young man. If I could go back to my 20s, early 20s, and it's a lot of things that I would have chosen to do differently. So this is a major step to jump into. And so let's just ask that serious question. Let's ask a serious question. You said something earlier, Cameron. There are certain risks that are involved for a young man getting involved with a lady that has a child already at such when he's in that age group. So one of those risks. Let's talk about the risks for a second. You
Hey,
said
hey,
one of the
Cub.
risks is, look, you're not really the child's father. So now here comes the case of what if he has a daughter? What if there's a
Right.
daughter in the house?
Right.
Are you
Mhm.
comfortable with that atmosphere? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Before
bro.
we even flip this on ourselves, are you even comfortable with that atmosphere? Yes, go ahead, Rashad.
Okay, before you go there, I want to go somewhere with this. Okay, when I got into this specific situation, being
Yeah.
20 years old, exactly the age 20, when I put this in front of my mother, my mother
Rashad, I
supported
want
me.
to hear you clear. I want to be able to hear you clearly. It's giving me some feedback on your microphone. It's really
All right, hold on. I'm gonna
and I
switch.
want to hear this clearly because I think this is really good what you're about to say.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think it was just a signal more than anything. Go ahead.
Okay. When I was young, exactly being 20 years old, and I came into this exact same situation, and I met a young lady who already had a daughter. When I presented this in front of my mother, she totally supported me moving forward in this relationship. It only dawned on me later in life that my mother was supported it because she had sympathy for the girl because my daddy was not there for me. And when my mom analyzed the whole situation, she looked at that girl as being hurt because my dad was never there. My dad did not claim me at birth.
Hold
He
on one
said, "You
second,
go to the
Rashad.
guy."
We're getting
So
some
I
of the
know
people
my
are
mom.
saying that your mic. Some of the people are saying that your mic is giving a lot of feedback. Do me a favor, just
You
go
hear
in
that?
and come back in and
Hold
see
on.
if it's just the Wi-Fi or something that's going on. We're gonna give him a second because I really want to hear what he had to say. I'm gonna read some of the posts that I would discuss his heart with him and guide based off of what he says. Okay, yes, yeah, I think it's very important that conversation is had because, man, I'm telling you, it's so many risk factors to jumping into relationships. You have a lot of different risks. There's risks that come into play with the baby's father. There's risk that comes into play with the relationship between the mother and the baby father. I mean, sometimes we really don't know. You really don't know what that relationship was like. Is she now getting a new guy because that was a very toxic relationship with the baby's father, and
Right.
is she using the new guy as a pawn to kind of be a punishment to the baby
Right.
father, and how can that really escalate to worse situations where someone could possibly end up hurt behind it, or in jail behind it? So there's a lot of pieces to the picture. And then also we have to remember that there's also the factor of family. So there's a lot of pieces that goes there, and I think as a young age, it's really hard. I wish I could get some young guys to jump on here that might be even in that role right now. In that role, fresh, brand new father, that never been a father before, and fresh into a relationship, and now he's spent into a situation because he decided to get into a relationship with a mother that had a child already. I have someone here says, I was a single mom at 21 and was very cautious in getting into another relationship. Yeah. I think it's very important, especially I think it's important very important for the mother to be wise in her movements, especially in those times with situations, knowing that the I guess you would say like the two personalities and situations with the other guys. Hold on one second. I think we have Rashard coming back in. Oh, he disappeared. But anyway, once he gets back in, we'll pick that up again. So yeah, so hold on one second. Cameron, let me ask you this. So you said you actually had a situation similar to this when you were younger?
Yeah, well, when you come into a situation, Rashad, I don't want you to forget what you were saying. You go ahead, Rashad.
Okay,
Then
Rashard,
I'll jump back on.
let's see if we can hear you well now, Rashard.
Okay, mic check, mic check.
Great. All right, that's awesome, bro. Let's
Okay.
roll.
All right, what I was saying, brother, when I was young, I was exactly 20 years old, and I experienced the very exact situation. And when I had told my mother about it and had introduced her to the young lady, my mother, she really supported this relationship and me taking on the responsibility of being a father to this little girl who was actually 2 years old at the time. And as later in life, I realized why my mother really supported it so much, because my father was not there for me. When I was born, my biological father denied that he was my father, right?
Mhm.
So my mother had sympathy for the young lady I was dating. When she saw her, she saw herself. And so she was very um supportive of this relationship because of the things that she had went through in life. So I realized that now, and it's sad because a lot of the choices we make, we make them because of the pain and hurt that we've encountered,
Right.
and I really believe that's why my mother, it was out of the love and sympathy that she had for this girl. She didn't want her to go through the same thing that she went through. And I'm proud to say that girl, I'm her daddy to this day,
Yeah.
you know. And I don't have any regrets about being her father. But there's a lot that comes with that, because a lot of things happen with her where I felt that I was not tough on her or stern with her because she was not my biological child. It was some things that I let her get away with that I probably would not have let my biological daughter get away with. And we've had a lot of discussions on this because I ended up having two more kids from her mother, right? So, and I had a daughter and a son. And a lot of things that she went through as a daughter, it would probably, I would have treated it differently, because when you're young and you don't know any better, you want a child to be your friend. Instead of being a father, you're looking to be a friend. So
Right.
those mistakes that I won't make anymore with any of my children, I don't look to be none of their friends no more. I'm daddy,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
you know. But you young, you 20, you don't know any better.
Right, right, and
So
that's one of the elements that I look at. One of the elements that I look at the most is experience. At that age, I just truly
right,
believe that it's better for you to grow into father instead of being thrown into being a father.
right.
It's too
Totally.
much to deal with for a young man, that he has a lot to sort out. If he had his own child, raising his child, he kind of learns. It's a certain amount of compassion is there. It's a different heart that's being shown. A lot of understanding is different, and it's just more genuine love that's
Mhm.
there, because of the fact that this is his seed. And so what happens is they actually get a chance to learn as they grow, as the child grows. Even as the child grows, they learn and grow with them. I think that when you're thrown in, you kind of play the role instead of really know what you're doing. You're just playing the role of
Mhm.
what you think it should be, and what you think you should do. I think it's very important. I think experience is very important. Hold on, let me read this right quick. Like I had someone. Okay, we have Chef say, my stepdad took me on when he was 23 or 24. My mom was young, and he took me on as his own. We had a falling out later in life, but he definitely was there when my real father wasn't. Um, so, uh, so yeah. So I mean, is there a need? Yes, there is a need. However, I feel like at that age group, it would probably be better for an older man
Right.
to be stepping into that position to be
Mhm.
stepfather. Not, a young lady having a child at a young age. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I really just feel like that the the best thing for that situation is not someone from her own age group. You're kind of past that time now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you're in your young 20s and you're having a baby, and you're looking for another guy that's in the young 20s to be right in your age group to have an experience of life, I think you kind of past that moment. I think at the young 20, at this point, you should say, okay, look, now I'm going to need to take a big girl leap. I need someone that's older in my life, that can come in, that has experience and more wisdom, and knows how to deal with children. I think that's very important. I think sometimes we kind of put a fictitious thought out there, or
Mhm.
want, and you kind of you look. It's kind of backwards. Like you look for the Prince Charming who fits all of the thoughts that you want. You know what I'm saying? But all of those thoughts and things that you would like, age and everything else, kind of fit with the person before childhood, before having a child.
Mhm.
So I think that that's one of those elements where it's kind of like you kind of got to make a mature decision at that point, as the woman, as the female, got to make a mature decision for that's best for your child. Um,
And brother,
yes, go ahead,
now
brother.
on the flip side, my stepdad, who was the only dad I really knew, I love him like no other. It's
Hmm.
wonderful. He met my mother when I was 2, but he was a grown man.
Right,
He
right,
was actually 15 years older than my mother. My mother was 20, and she was 22 at the time. And she met him, he was 35.
right.
And that made a big difference. I could see what a train wreck what it could have been if my mom would have chose a guy who was 20, 22, 21,
Mhm.
23.
Right, right,
With him being in his mid-30s came a lot of wisdom, and financial stability for us to never really wanted anything. We always had stuff. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. And great man, and I truly appreciate him coming in to be my dad. But like, we had some issues because the same. See, our history just keep repeating itself. See,
Right.
I know that my stepdad, he wanted to be my friend. He wanted me to love him. And as I got a little older and a little wiser, I abused that. So I knew I could get away with everything because
Right.
he wanted more than anything in this world. He wanted me to love him.
Right.
So I got away with everything, you know. So and then see how the history just repeated itself. Then when I got
Right.
involved and I had a stepdaughter that wasn't mine, I wanted her to love me. You see,
Right.
we got to break these cycles, bro.
Right. Right.
And some wisdom got to come in, and somewhere along the line, we got to use our intelligence over our emotions and make some better choices and better decisions. You know, so it's just like that history of breaking these cycles and not making the same poor choices. I don't recommend anybody having a baby under 30. I don't. That would be ideally,
We
but
got a
we got
young lady.
to
We got
happen.
a lady. We got a lady that just jumped in. She said, "I don't think age has anything to do with it at all, because there are some grown, immature men and some young, mature men."
Yeah, but
Yeah,
look at
but
yeah,
you,
you know, it's a needle in the haystack. But we're gonna talk about in generalities.
yeah,
So you tell me, I want to know, just like I said last time, we talked about all this young stuff.
Right.
Tell me the person on this line who's with the same person they was with when they were 20.
Not many.
Not many.
man,
Right.
yeah,
Because most of us, we not ready. We
No.
are not ready.
Right. And I would like to say, when it comes to men, I would really like to say they may seem mature with certain actions, but you're
right.
gonna see an immature thread at a young age. There's
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
an area in his life that he's
Because
gonna be
like
immature in.
I said, P, get back to experience. You ain't lived no life. You ain't experienced
Have
have
it.
it,
nothing.
no,
Have it.
have it, right.
Right.
So when life hit him in the mouth, what is he gonna do?
Right.
Your
Exactly.
life gonna hit you. You gonna get hit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh
Gonna
yeah,
do.
Right.
oh
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's the key. If you haven't lived, you can't possibly have experience it. I mean, if you haven't had children yet, you can't. Is there's no way to effectively
mm-mm.
jump into an already made family and
Right.
operate as if though you've had children and you've raised children before. It's just not going to
It's
happen.
not.
With
Hey
children,
fam.
you have so many things, especially when it comes to men. Like men are not, they don't have the same
Mm-mm.
emotional, gravitational pull as females do. So when it comes to
Right.
dealing with children, they're going to deal with children a lot differently, and it's going to be mostly a lot more harshly, or it's going to be just a lot more stern. But it's not until they have their own children that they really start to realize how to have a sensitive heart on how to deal with children. So it's really it's going to be a rough call right there. Go ahead, Rashad. What were you about to
Hey,
say?
bro, I wasn't here last week, but I know what the topic was. And I'm gonna tie this into this week. Nobody leaves when it's good.
Right.
Everybody leaves when something goes wrong. When they
Right.
get hit in the mouth, when life hits
Mm-hmm.
you in the mouth, that's when
Yeah.
most people
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nobody leaves when it's good. Nobody leaves
Mm-mm.
when everything is fine. But when them life circumstances come, and they gonna come, they
Right.
gonna come to the old man, and they gonna come to the young man. They gonna come to the old woman, and they gonna come to the young woman. What's
Yeah.
gonna be your reaction? And I guarantee you, most of the time, that young guy, he's not gonna know what to do.
He's not gonna know what to do. And I would like to do this because I do see a response that said, "How can?" Oh, let me just pop this up on the screen. It says, "How can you not have experience if you jump?" Wait a minute. What did it say? How can you not
Yeah.
have experience if you don't jump in? Okay, so let me address that one. Let me
Okay.
address that one. How can you not have experience if you don't just jump in? I think that just jumping in can lead to a lot of hardship a lot of unnecessary headaches. And that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, from the point of what I'm speaking from is like experience. When I say experience, it's a difference when you've never had children before, and you get with a woman that has a child, and then you have to learn everything, how to deal with the child. Now, there's a lot here you have to kind of think about. You got a baby father that's involved who could cause interference to the situation, which causes that young man not to be able to focus enough, because now he's dealing with a lot of different factors at one time, and therefore he can't possibly deal with the child like he should, and his relationship there as he should. Now, when I say experience, I mean it's a big difference when you have a child and you raise that child and there's no other obstacles in the way. You have an opportunity to learn the process. You learn more. You can focus more. It's more attention put on the needs of the child emotionally and things of that nature, when there could possibly when you just jump in on a situation and you've never had a child before, there's a lot of things you got to learn real time. And man, juggling life and juggling real humans at the same time is a very difficult thing to do, and it'll never be done with experience from that angle. It won't be handled the same as a person who actually grew with that child as they grew. I want to read a couple of these comments because I see them popping up here. Hold on one second. I think they're just speaking on older, mature men. What are you saying is true? Let me pop that on the screen. Speaking on a mature man. Yes, absolutely. We're speaking on a young man who has never had children going into a situation in his young 20s versus a man that's older and mature. That's a big difference. And here's the thing too, ladies, you have to realize that you are the gatekeeper here if you have a child, and you have to already pay attention. You can't lead with your emotions when you're courting a man that you're thinking about bringing into a relationship with a child. You have to study that individual and know if that individual is mature enough to come into this situation. And therefore, I believe that, the wise point of this conversation is just know that if you're looking for someone in your same age group at the young 20s, you're hardly going to find somebody that's ready to handle and carry the load like you really want the load to be carried, and you need the load to be carried as a man. Go ahead. Who was about to say something? Cam, were you about to say something?
Yeah, going back to what you asked me earlier, when you're coming into a relationship that young, there's a responsibility that you take on, right? And then as far as the woman on her side, there's a responsibility that she's giving you. Now, a lot of times they may give you that responsibility, but as soon as something go wrong where they don't feel something is right, then chaos break out. Now,
right.
the father, there's another part to it where I did this twice. So the second part to it, whereas the person, the dad,
right,
feel like you're doing a whole lot and then start getting jealous. And then you may come into a situation where the mom's still liking the dad and use you as a pawn in some ways, you know?
Man.
And so it's a lot, especially when you're that young, to take on. But that's the experience. Like someone wrote, how can you know? I mean, unless you have experience or something like that. Well, yeah, I guess you're getting experience as you go, but it's a lot. I mean, it got so bad one time where the person threatened me and I was waiting at the door ready for him. That bad. And I was ready to go. I mean, I was heated.
So that's another focus. So that's another focus point that we're about to head to. That's actually a point that we're about to head to, Rashad. I don't know what you were about to say. Go ahead.
Okay, I just read Tiffany Ware's comment, and definitely that that played a part in with me because I was a high school dad. High school. I had my first child when I was 16, but I had a great support system.
Right.
And now I'm 16 with a child. When I hit 20, I meet another the girl. She got a baby already too. So that's
Right.
two,
Right.
right? Okay. My stepdad was such an exceptional man. He was an extraordinary man, right? And he influenced me a lot. And then I also had that burden on me because my biological father was not there for me. I
Right.
have a dedicated father to all of my children.
Right.
I may have stumbled as a husband. I may have
Right.
stumbled as a brother. I may have stumbled in a lot of areas. But one area I do say that I know I've been great at is being a father and a dad to my children.
Right. Right.
Because I know the pain. I understand that because my biological father wasn't there for me. So I
Right.
said I would never. I made a vow to myself, and I've always kept to this vow that none of my children will never feel the way I felt.
Right. And
So
see, there's the point though. So there's the point. Okay. So as a mother with a child, why would you risk hoping that this young 20-year-old had a great upbringing? Why would you risk that? You see what I'm saying? We have to look at this. A young man at that age is not, hardly are you going to find one that's going to say, okay, I'll work 2 or 3 jobs if I have to make sure that this woman and this child eats, that we keep a roof over our head. Most young men are going to get tired quick and say, you know what, man, I haven't lived yet. I still want to sow my,
exactly.
I still want to sow my wild oats. You know what I'm saying? I still want to experience some things in life. And so now I think okay, let's even say it this way. Can I say it this way? I think that it's unfair for a young lady to have a child and say, okay, young man, age 20, haven't lived yet, hasn't experienced anything. I'm going to put this burden on you. This is going to be, you need to take care of my child and deal with whatever else is coming with the picture. I think that that's almost a point of saying, selfishness. That's selfish. I think at this point you should say, you know what, let's chalk it up. I need to look for a grown man that has lived a bit already. And he actually he already has some form of, I guess, this is just like from a wise standpoint. He always has some form of stability in his life. He already knows what he wants. He's experienced some things in life. At this point, I think, that would be the angle to go towards versus a young man that's in his 20s. That's all I'm saying. In the young 20s, you're going to look for a lot of issues that's going to come with him sticking around. Go ahead, brother.
That you dealing with such a slippery slope here, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, they don't think like that. Yeah.
Because being at that age, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed, man. I had a great support system, man. I had my daddy. I had my mama. I had my aunties. I had my granddaddy. And it took a whole village to raise the kids that I had. In today's society, it's very different now. It's not the same way it was 30 years ago, man.
Right. It's not.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't think like that, yeah.
And then here's the other thing I want you to think about this here. Look at where people are meeting their mates at. They're meeting them on Instagram. They're meeting them on Facebook. They don't even really know. They don't really know.
They don't even know what's going on at all.
Yeah, definitely. They looking at how many likes they got.
Right.
This the guy, girl I want to date.
Right.
They don't know these people, man. Okay, biblically, let me go back. One of my favorite stories, and I heard T.D. Jakes break this thing down so well, man. He talked about when Jacob was wanting Rachel, and he had worked 7 years for her, and his daddy sent her in to consummate the marriage, right? And he laid down face to face with her sister because he did not know her.
Right.
He laid down face to face with her and had a baby because he did not know her. I think we need to get to know people who we having sex with first, to
Right.
have a relationship with.
Right.
That's more important than having sex. It's hard to say it. It's hard to understand that when you're young, but it's so much important when you're older to realize the relationship, the communication, the respect, the honor, instead of just being driven by lust in the flesh.
So do you, so, so do
Absolutely.
you think that the woman should be the first, should tell that guy, listen, like Pastor Thomas said, listen, I don't think we should date because you're young, and I feel like you need to have more experience, you know, and so forth. You think they need to say that?
I think they should be wise enough to say that, because
Yeah.
one of the ladies put up a statement and it said, "So you're telling me?" Hold on, let me just say this. What they just said. Wait, hold on one moment. I'm gonna read this. It says, "Here we go, the blame game," and it says, "Why would the young 20-year-old risk being with a young mother to begin with?" Well, let's just look at it. Let's look at that immaturity factor that I'm talking about. At the young 20s, he probably does not have a place to stay yet. She probably does. Let's look at that
Right.
first. Secondly, she probably has a job that's stable, and she's probably has her head, she's going to be focus driven because she has a child. So he is not going to have that much driven, that focus driven mentality yet, because usually they're kind of just starting to learn life. And then the other point of that is this: why would he want her? She might be an attractive female. Men at the young 20s is not looking for my wife for the future. We're looking for something to crush. 9 times out of 10
Right.
at the age of 20. Listen, I'm not saying every single 20-year-old. I'm not saying that. But most young men in their young 20s is not looking for wife. They're looking for someone to have relations with.
Yeah.
And so therefore,
Right.
any other benefit they can take from that situation, great. And so if you get thrown in and become father in the event of all of that, you kind of just fall into a situation which might not be good for your child. So at the end of the day, it's really not a blame situation. It's really a warning, a call of caution and warning, saying, listen, maybe young ladies should think about this before they allow that to happen, before they make that mistake. They should look. My mother used to say something that was, I think was used to be funny to me back in the day. But now that I think about it now, I laugh about it, but I say, she was right. My father was like 20 years older than my mom. And she used to say, I'd rather be I'd rather be an old man's daughter than to be a young man's slave. That to me was really potent now that you think about it.
Yeah,
It's a big difference. It's a big difference. You get an older guy, at least he knows how to, bring in the means that's needed for the family. But more importantly, I'm just saying, for me, if I was a young mother, I would not want my child being in a situation that this man is learning at a young age,
right.
learning how to deal with him or her. And then so that leads to a lot of hurt and a lot of things that happens throughout the years that could be bad for the child. That's all I'm saying.
There's a lot. Go ahead.
We want to get better. We want to learn from our mistakes. We don't want to keep on repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. Cause my mama them did this and my daddy them did this. No, we want to be better for our child. You know what I'm saying? So if there's somebody out here that think that this is a great idea, I would love for them to call in and tell me.
As a matter of fact, I'll bring them on. I'll bring them on
and tell me why they would recommend their child to do this.
Well, could I say this? Now, there's another sense of control. When that woman is a little older, right, and they have a 20-year-old,
right,
they becomes the mom to that 20-year-old.
Well,
they become a mom. Right, and control the situation. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Then it gets out of control. And like I said, there's a responsibility they put upon that person, which is selfish, like you said.
Right.
And then next thing you know, if when I leave the house, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, make sure the kids or whatever. And then when they step up and put their hands on them, oh, you ain't the daddy, you
Right.
know, and then
Since
a
you
whole
say
bunch of
that,
stuff
that's
happened.
a good thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Since you say that, what about the factor of now you have a baby father involved in a
Right.
situation, and this young man is trying his best to now become what he thinks he should be, and now there's the interference on the outside. How healthy do you think?
Right.
How well do you think a young man is going to deal with something
Right.
versus an older man dealing with a situation like
So,
that?
And I was going to say right quick, right, that you got to look at the kids. They're looking at all of this with
Right,
that young man in the house.
right,
And then sometimes they want to take control of that young man if they're a certain age. If you say, for instance, the kids are 10, or 9, they're gonna try that young man. Then here it goes. Oh, that's my kid. You can't be doing this. You can't do that. Oh, he said this. I know my kid. You know, they won't say that if it wasn't that way. Then it becomes
right.
it's
a
a
problem
lot of
within
stuff
their
there.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot of stuff
let me
there. Rashad, what you about to say?
hey, let me tell you what I dealt with. It wasn't my stepdaughter, who my daughter, her biological dad didn't. He never came around. We never had no problems out of him. The most issues that I had was dealing with her grandmama, her auntie, and her uncle wanting to parent from outside the wall. And when we said something that she didn't like, she
Yep.
was, I want to go live with my auntie now.
Right.
I want to go
Right,
live with my grandmama
right,
now. I want
right.
so she bounced around. Because
Which
anytime
becomes completely hard.
Right.
that she didn't want, that was against, that was some an adult grown uh decisions,
Right,
she found the easy way to go bounce and live and move in with somebody
Mm-hmm.
who would go along with what she did.
right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So that went on for years and
Yeah,
years and years. So that's a whole nother dynamic right there you got to deal with. You know.
right,
So you have relatives who know you're not the actual father. So they're gonna try to tell me what's best for my daughter who lives with me, you know, and that would cause a lot of issues.
yeah. That's very important because I tell you, when it comes to dealing with I want to bring you guys on the screen instead of the call in tonight. If you guys want to get on tonight and ask questions and talk, I want to bring you on the screen. I think it'll be a lot better because we'd love to hear you better clearly tonight and see your face. So if you want to jump
Yeah.
on, please do send in the number or the email address on the screen, and I'll send you the link over so you can jump into the chat. But yeah, so this is one of those situations. Like I tell you, man, when let's just gauge for a moment, what would the response of an older man be dealing with a baby father or external issues versus a young 20-year-old? I mean, let's think about that. That is a big difference. And also, what factors is this young 20-year-old coming into? Now you have all types of issues where, and I've seen situations where baby mothers use that their new guy to be a pawn in a situation where she's using that as a jealous point for the baby
Right.
father, and then there's that conversation of telling the baby father, hey, you're not the daddy anyway, he's more of a daddy than you are, and all
Right.
these. What do you think a young man is equipped and ready for that, and should he
No.
think about that? What would you tell your son? Ladies, even the ladies that are on tonight, don't take this from a personal standpoint. It's easy to do that. Let's say, what would you tell your son at 20 years old? He just finished high school good, just
25.
starting to live a little bit. He's hit 20 years old, and mom, I just met a lady and she has a child already. And I'm thinking about, I want to marry this woman and become dad overnight.
Look, I got a 9.
What would you tell your child? Ladies, come on. Tell me what you would tell your child. Jump in that chat group. I hear a lot of fumes. It's a lot of smoke up in there. Let me see what you would actually say to your son that you love dearly, that you've invested your time in, that you have spent all of this time in education. You want him to go to college. You want him to have a life, and you want him to actually have a great start in life. What would you tell your son at 20 years old that says, I met a lady with a baby and I want to get married, and all of the other external factors are really right now just kind of a secret. You don't know what he's going to have to deal with, and how is this going to alter his life plans in education? How is it going to alter his life plans as just how he views women after this, how he views family? All of these different things are things you have to think about. And that's the question. It's easy to be a noble person and say the noble statement of, as long as she's a good girl, I think it's great. That's cool. But let's think beyond the shallow thought of what sounds good. What really goes on in your heart and in your mind about your child? Come on, Cameron, you about to say something?
Well, what I do now, I have the advantage right now. So what I do right now, I tell my boys. People sometimes say, "Why you telling them that they're that young?" Because I want them to. I might not be around. I don't want them to hear from nobody else but me, so they remember. So I tell them, have your own fresh start. I say, you may not understand what I'm saying right now, but you will eventually. And I break some things down privately to them.
Listen, ladies, I'm seeing the comments that you're making. I don't want to focus on just an older man versus young man. That was just a portion of the segment. Let's not get lost on that. Right now, I'm saying, let's think clearly for a moment about your 20-year-old son. Your son that you've invested time in, education in, all of this upbringing that you really wanted. You want grandbabies. You want all of that from him, his seed. And now he's telling you, hey, at 20 years old, I might not be able to do college.
Now what
be able to go further because I'm thinking about marrying a woman that's already has children. So what would you say now? Come on, let's talk to me. Don't get caught up on just the older man versus younger man maturity bonus package situation. I really want to focus in on what about your son? Me personally, I would tell my son, at 20 years old, son, have a fresh start. I'm with you, Cameron, on this one. I would say have a fresh start. And it's too young to say I'm just ready to settle down and marry a woman and be done with life. I think early 20 is too young.
Yeah,
we got to look at this now. You got to be careful on this because now he's involved with this woman. And they may have a kid, and boom, there he goes. He's in trouble.
You can
now you got to be with his kid and the baby mama.
Hold on,
and the other kids.
Someone just made a statement. You can still pursue your dreams with or without kids. Listen. Let's not do that. You cannot pursue those dreams easily, and it's a little off topic, but you cannot pursue the dreams to the same way that you could maximize without children. You cannot. It's gonna. You have responsibilities now. You have choices that you got to make beyond yourself, and that's another issue. At 20 years old, you're being able to make choices beyond yourself, beyond what you want. It's big.
Somebody put a comment in there, a real woman wouldn't do that. But when you 20, you ain't no real woman. You're
not at 20.
You still a girl. Ain't no damn woman on here make no real woman decision or choices at 20. Because if you would have, you wouldn't have got pregnant.
Right. At 20. Yeah.
At 20.
If you, exactly.
And then I'm loving the comments, man. Keep them coming. I'm loving the comments.
I'm loving the comments. They firing at us right now.
I read another comment saying that a man is 40s and 50s, but he gonna make a lot better choices than a man who 20.
Right, he will make better choices.
Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody perfect.
Right.
That's when wisdom comes in. Yeah.
I'd rather go with the choice I make right now than the choice I made at 20.
Right.
Man.
Well, let's be real. At the age of 40, at the age of late 30s, How many of you have sat back and said, man, I wouldn't have made the decisions made
We
when I was
all.
in my 20s? If
We
none of you guys online can say,
all.
man, I wouldn't have made those decisions. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Like, let's not pop up these statements.
Yeah.
See, go back. Remember what I said a couple weeks ago? You remember what I said a couple weeks ago?
Right.
That person is in there and they're fighting their own demons right now, and they don't want to let it go and just tell the truth.
All right. What this
Yeah,
is?
they're
Hold
fighting
on,
their
let me
own
read
demons
this.
because they're in it
Let me
right
read this. And a
now.
lot depends on the maturity of that young man or son and the foundation of said relationship. Remind them not to rush into anything. When children are involved, it is so much more. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. You cannot live selfish. Absolutely. All right, let's see what Aria said. I want to make sure I read this. It says, I have a stepson who was in this situation. At first, I was really scared and didn't want him to get caught up because the girl was older and already had a child. My son stopped going to college because he was so in love. Now they have a child and they are not together. See anymore.
That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I just got to saying.
Treating her child different because that was not in the biological. That was not his biological. There we go. That's a perfect example. Yeah. When you realize children are a very, very important factor in life, and it takes a investment of self. And when we're talking about at the young age of 20, I think that it's one of our biggest downfalls, and especially in our community, it's one of our biggest downfalls that we start having children so young. And so we never get the education, we never get a stability. And so the cycle continues where, okay, somebody will be the daddies one day. Hopefully I'll look up and find a good daddy. And it goes from let me find a good man in life that I can grow with and have children with, to let me find a good man in life that can be a good father and help take care of me and my child. You don't really want that. In that shouldn't be our first train of thought. You see what I'm saying? I understand that relationships happen, but far too many situations happen where people are in their young 20s and they're trying to live like adults. I know that the legal age of adulthood is 18. Okay, cool. But truthfully, when it comes to mentality wise and maturity wise, you really have not even touched you scratch the surface when you start hitting 40. Your late 30s, going into your 40s, that's when you really start to grasp what the reality of life really is.
Exactly. And you know, it's a lot of comments up here, you know, and it's very funny. It's very hilarious to me because instead of embracing what's going to be beneficial, you would rather be argumentative and try to embrace what you know ain't right now. You know it ain't right. So
you know
I do this, and I put this information out, and I'm very candid and frank about everything I talk about to help people grow, to help people not go through the same mistakes. So I can sit up here and come up here and BS y'all and tell you everything and candy coat and make it sound good. I can do that, but I'm not gonna do that because it's not gonna help nobody. So to sit up here and try to back up some of this crazy stuff you writing up there, it's ludicrous to me. You know it's not right. Nobody will want their child to be in a relationship and have no baby at 20. Nobody.
And, I don't want to just make statements. I don't want to just make statements for the sake of the argument. I really want us to look at the reality. I think if I said that I've taken the time to nurture my child to get to high school, graduate. Now they're just beginning to see, okay, what do I really want to be in life? And I want to see what their full potential can be in life. I think that the last thing I want to do is cut their potential short because they fell into a sympathy situation where, okay, I love this person. I think it's my job now to become father. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case. I think that we really have to be wise with our children and say, you know what? look, first of all, it's very, very, look, I know I'm stepping on some toes here. People get mad at me, but look, it's very, very, I would say, what's a good word for it? I guess it's not a good look. It was not a good decision made to lie down and have a child with someone, have sex with someone unprotected in young teens and 20s.
Reckless.
You know, it happens. I get it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a great decision.
No,
It wasn't a great decision. So if that's the case, then don't we gotta reverse the curse. Don't make the decisions that lead to situations, then say, okay, the man just ain't mature because he can't step up to the plate. No, that was a decision made by you. And if that decision was made by you, then this is you have to make the next decision be a wise decision. Your next decision must be wiser. So don't look for the young Romeo that you could have had if you had no children. Don't look for the young man that's in the same age group where you could have started a fresh start from. It might be much wiser to look for an older gentleman who has more wisdom, more stability, and what's best for your child at that point. But for my young son, I'm going to tell my young son everything I can to deter him from thinking he's in love. I'm just telling you from the door. I want you to grow and become the best you can be, and I don't want anything to hinder him. And that might sound biased at some point, but that would be my thought process.
That's right. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Totally. And I would say this, that
100%.
If you have a son or a daughter, I would advise them not to have any kids until they're almost 30.
Yeah.
They've got some experience in life, got themselves financially situated, and understand the difference between love and lust and so many things. Learn about communicating, and then you making wise choices, man. You want the best for your kids, son or daughter. We don't want them to go out here and make these same mistakes we made.
Right.
Doing these same generational curses and stuff because we did it like that. Nah, I'm not. That ain't cool. So we want to uplift out this next generation, man, and have them
go to another level.
We made.
Yeah, we want to go to another level. We want our children to go to the next level. We want to see them walk into the realm of being business owners, being successful, financially stable, and having that house and having bank accounts and everything, money in the 401ks and things like that, all set in place. So by the time they hit their 30s, they say, okay, let's have children.
Yeah, we can do this. We can afford
it. I know me and my wife always say, and if we would have known this in our 20s, we would have had a bunch of kids by now. But the truth is, in our 20s, we never would have been at our level where we're at right now with each other to really, that probably wouldn't have been successful. You see what I'm saying? Right. So when I think about it, I still want to be very, very wise that, hey, man, listen, I want us to see the same thing that we see from some of our Caucasian counterparts, Asian counterparts. When you see them, they are established many times. If they're not established by their family already to where they can have children at 20 because they have a great support system. They already have money put up for their children. They already have great credit put up for their children. All of this stuff is in place for them. Already have a house waiting for them. All of these things are in place many times. So when we talk about success level, let's make sure that we set our children up for success. I'm just letting you know, my daughter is not, she's not even a teenager yet, but I'm on top of her when it comes to what she wears. I'm very on top of her when it comes to how she dresses and how she sits and everything else, because I'm going to stay on top of her to the time that she gets out of school and is on her way. Why? Because I do not want to see her pregnant at a young age and saying now she has to figure out how she's going to take care of this kid and hopefully she can find someone that can help her raise this. No, exactly. I don't want that to happen. I want her to be successful, have a focused mind, so that she can be able to get out of school and be well on her way into like establishing herself before anything else. So I think that's very important. I see a statement here. It says, and I know we went over the time, but it looks like this is a hot topic for a lot
2035.
of people. But it says, I see it says, well, Shaft said he's going to report the ladies if they keep asking for a disconnect. The number. Listen, I don't want to share the number. I want y'all to go online tonight, guys. I want you to come online and say, okay, so look, Tiffany says it's men. Here we go. It's men in their 30s, 40s, and up, and still don't have the necessary resources. You are changing topics, Thomas. Well, here's the key. 30s, 40s, and up. And here's again, a lot of these guys were never established young. They were never established how to set themselves up financially while young. So because they weren't ever taught these things, they're at their 30s and 40s, they're behind. And that's what happens. And that's why we're saying what we're saying now. I want my son to be on target. So if I can keep him focused at his young 20s instead of chasing women, instead of chasing sex, instead of just trying to jump into relationships, if I can keep him focused on business, keep him focused on education, in his 20s, 30s, when he gets to the 30s and 40s, he'll already have things established that he won't have to worry about a lot of this talk that we're doing tonight. So that's why we're saying that. And I see the ladies.
Hey,
I think you guys started a fire online.
Now look at this up. Okay, even if this guy in his 30s, 40s, 50s, and he ain't financially established, he's still gonna make better decisions.
He'll still make better decisions.
Much better decisions.
Because he's lived. He already lived.
He gonna make, come on, man. Let's talk about do what you got to keep it real.
It's just natural. That's a natural thing that we know is as a truth. It's not every single guy is gonna make a better decision, but the average guy in his 30s and 40s are gonna make better decisions than the average guy in his 20s because he's lived. He's experienced some things. And look, watch this. Ladies, this is a big thing for you to think about. If he's experienced some heartbreaks, then he's more than likely gonna be a better man for you. Because he's gonna have this sensitivity level and emotional connection better. If he's experienced a lot of these things, it's gonna have him already in a place where he can even get to the next level that he needs to get to. So let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, these ladies are off the chain.
Financial is women's best man.
Well, why are these men still cheating, disrespecting good wives? Well, there you go. They're still cheating and disrespecting good wives because they're still running into women who allow them to have all the goods with a wife and making bad decisions to just lay down with a guy that they just met. I mean, let's just be true. Look, he can only do what you allow him to do.
But what is a good wife?
What is a good wife? Well, that's a whole nother conversation. Listen, that's gonna be next week. I think we're gonna have to put that. What is a good husband? What is a good wife?
On the outside looking in, everything look good on the outside.
Everybody is not cheating, and that's the key. Everybody, all those men in their 30s and 40s are not cheating.
Yeah, and who you got the information from?
And where are you picking
from? And who they get the information from?
And we out.
Everybody make themselves look good. Everybody make themselves look good when they information. Oh, he wasn't no good. Oh, she wasn't no good. You know what I'm saying?
Don't go there.
Yeah, let's not use that as the that's the ejection seat in the cockpit of the plane that's going down. When nothing else works, every man cheat. They still cheating. Eject. Get them out of this situation.
Where's that sound?
And all the women still complain.
I'm trying to read this. It's not all older men are mature and stable. You're right, but you have to choose. You have to choose an older man that has those attributes. If you're not, look, we can't fall in love. At this age in life, we really have to start to realize there's no such thing as falling in love.
Yeah.
If you make the decision to walk into relationships, you have to look at, have eyes wide open, ears wide open, and decide who you're actually getting involved with. So when at the end of the day, even that young man that you deal with, if you're a young lady and you're with a child and you have a young man walking in the picture, this is where a lot of the issues come in at, with molestation and abuse, all of these crazy things, because people are falling in love with responsibilities attached to them. When you have a child, you are responsible for that child, and therefore you can't fall in love. There's no bliss to this. You have to make a real decision of who you're dealing with.
Yeah,
I would love to bring you on if you have a link, send whatever email you want to come on now.
Come on, somebody come talk to us.
Everybody's trying to jump on tonight. I just have a feeling that some of these ladies that's here tonight are
Hey,
going to take us a different
here's
direction on the
another-
conversation, fellas.
Here's another thing. I'm glad you said that, right? Bruh, most women, they don't take the time to really know these guys. You don't know what you your house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you bring around your daughter.
Right.
Your son.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
You got to take the time to get to know these people, man. And even then, even when you think you know them, you still don't know them. So maybe.
And you can't blame the other guy on the outside who's the dad. You can't really blame him for not knowing what's going on the inside. You know, because a lot of times the kids won't say anything because they don't want any friction.
So now you got this now you got the baby father. He's going to be on alert because now he don't know this guy who's in the picture. He has a child, God forbid, if he got a daughter.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now you got a lot of pieces of this is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot.
Yeah, because I know.
And I would love to bring you ladies on. You guys are I know that you're going to take this conversation in a different direction if you come on.
I know one thing. I know one thing that I know that, well, you better be careful. It's a lot of garbage out here.
It's a lot of garbage out here.
Garbage out here.
It's a lot of guys that really are garbage. They do not they don't want nothing more than an experience, nothing more than whatever they can take, whatever they can get.
I don't just want to lay down with you.
Just it. That's it. So therefore, yeah, man, listen, this what we're talking about tonight. This is good wisdom.
We didn't save ourselves.
All of them, you think? I mean, even for the guys, even you think it's a lot of quality out here right now. Yeah, right.
No, it's not a lot of quality.
Man, all the good people gone right now.
Right. You better go for the older guy. You better find an older man that's like, you know, you get your older man who ready to really be settled down. He tired. You know, I'm telling you, a young man. Oh my God, I'm not trying to let my son. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it because, like you say, fellas, there's a lot of garbage out here when it comes to men. But let me also be clear: there's a lot of garbage when it comes to women. Also, when your young man, your young son, dealing with, there's some habitual women that are out here, got babies from a guy and are not. They're not even trying to really be sincere about settling down. Right. So there's a lot of things, and playing with the emotions of my son. I can't do that. I can't allow it to happen.
But, and then we already know that women are a lot more mature than men, right?
I disagree. I disagree. I'm sorry, but I disagree. I disagree on that. Believe me.
Okay.
I know women in their 30s and 40s, and they still ain't mature. I'm
talking about at a young age, bro.
That's something we say.
Hold on, Kim.
I'm talking about at a young age. There is exceptions to the case, but I'm talking about there is exceptions to the case, but most of the time, women are more mature than guys.
Especially when you have a child.
So when you take your son who's 18 and he meet a chick that's 20, most of the time she running circles around him. So let me tell you, you can sit up here and say, okay, yeah,
that's not what that's being malicious.
seen the swim, them chicks were running circles around you too. We thought we were doing something. Them girls
Yeah.
running circles around you.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we want our sons to be in a position where they get to know themselves, get to know the girls. Cause bro, I'm trying to tell you, man,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
whole lot of stuff going on out here, man.
You should use. I
They're
think
running
situations
circles
like
up.
that, man. It's really important. It's really important to spend time with a person and not get emotionally attached through sex and all of those other areas. See, when all of that stuff comes in the picture, it makes things a little too cloudy to make a real wise decision. So when
Right.
once your emotions are involved and tied up and feelings, all of that stuff up there in the picture, it makes it hard for you to make a real wise decision on if this is a person you should be with or not. And therefore, you miss a lot of stuff that you should have saw. You know
A
what I'm
whole
saying?
lot.
Yeah. So it's very important because I'm telling you, man, that's the worst. And so this is why you have a lot of situations that we have when it comes to men that are playing the field so much because and women are gonna always say, God, well, y'all blame game again. There goes the blame game. But no, truthfully, a lot of these guys are only really sharing out what they've been hurt from. You know what I'm saying? And now they don't trust. They don't trust. So it's a lot. It's a whole lot to the picture. But listen, these ladies are on fire over here, guys.
Hey, see, who come in? What they got to say right now? Bring me in.
Don't be calling him pastor. He's a host.
Oh, Shaft said, "Don't bring them on, guys. Don't bring them on."
It's got three of them talking about let them in, let them in.
I don't know. I don't see them. I don't see them today.
See
We're over the time. I don't see them. I don't see
them.
Oh boy.
Oh, man, listen, man. This has been a good show, man. This has been a good show, guys. We have a whole lot of conversation going on tonight. Look.
The after party gonna be rough.
I feel like this should have been a part 2 to this one, man. I don't know.
Y'all missed me last week, didn't y'all?
Man.
Yeah, we missed you, man.
Night. You was out last time, man. We missed you being on. We're glad you came back in tonight. We've had a great discussion. And look, ladies, don't be mad. Listen, ladies, don't be mad, fellas. We're just talk. This is just guys talk, man. Let me tell you something. He's able. The guys are able to do better and get better. But let's be honest with ourselves on this topic for tonight. I believe that the number one way to help them get better and be able to do the best, we have to set our young man up for success from the beginning. So giving them a wise understanding of what they're doing and how to hold on to those emotions and feelings and not get so involved that they overlook the future that they could have if they establish it and set themselves up financially and education-wise. Also, set themselves up for a future that will be successful. Let's not set them up to fail. And I believe that at a young age of 20, with a child coming into a marriage or coming into a relationship with a woman that has a child already, that is going to be a very difficult and challenging process for a young man in his young 20s. So let's just try to push our young men to make good decisions. Ladies, I'm going to leave it up to you to talk to the ladies of your circle and tell those young ladies, listen, let's make better decisions before we start having babies at a young age. Let's not do it. Let's not do it. Hold on to it. One day you'll become older, wiser, and much more established and be ready for this. Let's wait till our 30s, late 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, and go from there. I think that's a good time frame. And so in the meantime, look, he's able. Rashard, Cameron, guys, this has been a good night. Ladies, we love you guys so much. Thanks for jumping on. And thanks so much for coming in. Shaft, thanks for holding down the fort over there in the comment section. We appreciate it. And for you ladies that have been haters tonight, I just want you to know.
The after party is going to be rough.
Hey.
Oh, they getting ready now. Here they
Oh,
come.
boy.
Here they come. Oh,
I see all them dots.
wait for Sunday. All right, man. Look, we love you guys. Thanks so much for jumping in. It's been a good night, and we have enjoyed.
Can we get some closing remarks on here?
And are there any closing remarks on here, ladies? Anybody have any closing comments?
I think they say they're out.
You already know the after party is gonna be rough tonight. Rashad, do you have a closing remark you like to leave with?
Yeah, I definitely want to say, man, use this as a valuable lesson, as a tool to increase the chances of our children being successful in the future. Place a value on yourself. Don't let your ego and your emotions trip you up.
Whoa!
God bless.
Oh man, Cameron, do you have some closing remarks tonight? Cameron said,
"Oh boy,
God bless y'all. God keep you, and
amen,
till we meet again.
amen.
I hope you guys have a really blessed and prosperous night."
Yes, indeed."